Welcome to the Parts Girl podcast, powered by PartsEdge with Kaylee Filio. Conversations that will transform the way we do business. Gain insight into the wins and struggles from automotive professionals.
Welcome to the Parts Girl podcast. I'm interviewing Wendy Reeves today. Welcome, Wendy.
Good afternoon, beautiful people, or whatever time of day it is.
I'm so excited to finally have you on the podcast. You've been on my Fast 7 live show. Normally, people go on the podcast and then the live, but we did it opposite. So,
Well, got to take things up, right?
yeah, absolutely. And, I just feel like this is going to be such a fun interview because I know you so well. So I get to ask more questions.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's so exciting, just the thought of, oh God, what is she going to, the anticipation. So yeah.
The anticipation. Well, this is the easy part. You have the opportunity just to introduce yourself, tell people what you do, just for the people that don't know who Wendy is.
Okay. So everybody that knows me, and I hope loves me, knows I get winded. So you'll have to cut me out. But who am I and what do I do? So I'm a car girl, like a lifetime car girl. My dad was a car guy. And my first job was a nighttime receptionist where he was a GM at a Buick store when I was 16. So I got out of it. I went to college. I was going to do something else. Came in and out and worked for the same dealer on and off for about 30 years between having my kids and everything else. And then I got into BDCs like 16 years ago in our dealership. And then I started training dealers like 2012, going on referrals. I did a little stint with a company called Dealer Strong, setting up their BDC client portfolio. And Greg Goebel sent me to a bunch of his clients at that time, who then became our clients. And then afterwards, I still work with a lot of their clients. And then in the last, moved out to Arizona. I was a lifer in Milwaukee, moved out to Arizona. Well, you want it shorter. Okay, so let me cut it down. What do? I do anything and everything BDC, and I know that's vague. Mainly, I'm a consultant and trainer for anything BDC. Where that has grown is that a lot of the dealers that we work with have unique needs. So we kind of have a number of niche products that we do with BDC Angels. We do on-site launches, we do train the trainer, we do consulting. But what we also started doing 5 years ago, thankfully, long before COVID, we got all the kinks out, as we started doing remote work from home agents. Now, not outsourced, not an outsourced center where we all sit in a room, or not an outsourced center that I contracted in Philippines. I experienced one of those a few years ago. One of our clients sent me to Manila to train the team they were using, and they're highly ineffective. They're not trained. They get all the wrong KPIs in place. So if you're going to outsource, don't outsource to an offshore company. Outsource to someone who maybe gets their agents from one, but make sure it's somebody who's based here in the U.S. so they know what's up and they know what you need. And then we started launching vehicle buying centers a year ago. So we're doing that too. And we do everything on referrals, so there's not a whole lot of marketing, so nobody really knows what we do. But that's what we do.
That's okay. The referrals are the best because, they know they can trust you, and then and I love how you're not like a one size fits all. You actually try to figure out what that dealership needs, and then you fulfill that need with what you guys do.
And that's really cool because a lot of people over the years have told me, you got to pick a product, you got to pick a product, you got to pick a product. No, I prefer to be, I don't know, I was joking with a title BDC fashionista or BDC instead of a barista or a boutique or whatever. Those are all, fancy dancy names that don't fit me anyway.
Yeah.
So what we do is, so for an example, I did a call, a guy called me at 8:30 last night, Arizona time, and says, hey, talk to so-and-so. He says, you can help us. We're opening a dealership. I've been in the franchise for years and years. So anyway, what we did is he got his partner on the phone. I said, okay, so what are your goals? Same as any of the rest of us, we ask for the goals, right? When we're strategizing with someone. And basically I told them whatever you need. The store's not even open. It's a bare bones from the ground up launch. And I said, we'll just take it a step at a time. We'll start out, we'll put in one agent. I'll help you structure it. And then we'll generate some organic traffic for you. So you have to worry about lead generation costs, et cetera, et cetera. And we'll jump in. We know the CRM. Boom. We'll just get moving for you. We can start on Monday. So then together we'll MacGyver it. Yeah. like I told them, and I said, I'm not a cookie cutter. I am, of all things in life and in business, I'm a total MacGyver. I'm like a solution for every problems kind of person, and which kind of, can I say struck? That's good. Because there's certain relationships where you have somebody that might be a little bit negative and you're like all positive and you hope to have a balance, but sometimes you have to be really, really focused and pointed so you don't let the negative get too close to your positive. So it's a struggle between people who have a problem for every solution and a solution for every problem. So yeah, I like to just get on the phone with somebody and what do you need? Let's figure it out. And teach them how to build it so they don't have to rely on me if they decide not to use this for any reason 3 months in because they want to do it themselves because they've mastered it. And then a couple months later, there's no. And I always tell them you can call me 24/7. Whether you choose to go with me or not, I will help you by providing all the options you should investigate.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of people just know that about you and, that's great. So I want to go back to something you said. You said 16 years ago, you guys started the BDCs. Do you feel like you were kind of like the first people to be doing the BDCs? Because I feel like BDCs new, but not new, if that makes sense. Like more people are paying attention to it now, but I don't feel a lot of people were doing it 16 years ago.
So just to show you the contract, we did it. We just did it in a much more primitive way.
Well, it was all we knew, but so initially in 2006, when I went back as internet marketing manager and a cradle to grave internet salesperson with one other person, I transitioned from the back of the house where I did almost all the positions, warranty clerk and service, parts, receivables, payables, title clerk was my first position, everything basically in the back of the house. And then they moved me to the front of the house. And we had Autobase, we switched over to Promax. We used to go in the morning as internet salespeople and print off all the leads and split them between ourselves if it was a day when we both worked and make all our notes on a little piece of paper from the leads and everything. I mean, nothing. There was no CRM notes or anything or no automation. It was nuts when we started our BDC. So they've been doing them as well. But I think what happened early at that time, what was new was an awareness of the need for subprime.
Okay.
All my stores at Automotive were subprime. I was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and the outlying areas. And nobody knew how to deal with subprime. And this is interesting. Listen up, because this is the importance of your OGs or your seasoned veterans, whether you're software, CRMs, telephony, training, whatever it is. Those that have been through the seasons remember when we did wear all the hats, and they're valuable advisors for those now that everything's all segmented. Like I'll refer to something that was about Colby when we talk on Digital Dealer. But the cool thing is, we remember and we had a little bit of a taste of all those areas. So we were really more effective in keeping the marketing message and the lead response times and the relevance to our internet leads, something that they're not doing nowadays. They're not reading comments. They're not looking at the lead as a person helping a person. So I think everything was more closer knit. I think the more software and tools and everything else, we kind of spread everything out. And that's why people are having trouble getting back to basics. They weren't around for the basics.
That makes sense. Yeah. And I feel that just in my day-to-day with all the different tools that we can use, you can become so overwhelmed by implementing so many different tools. And going back to the basics is like what you got to do.
And to relate to you with PartsEdge and talking about the importance and obsolescence and everything else, do you know how we knew what our parts inventory was? The parts manager called us all in on a Saturday in blue jeans and tennis shoes, and we all took inventory off the shelves. Yeah. And it was a written inventory. That's what it was. Warranty submission, everything. There were no diagnostic machines, no nothing. So, yeah. So now is a time where if you're looking for help, call some of the veterans in whatever you're doing because, well, like somebody like our buddy Bill, right? Bill Schomburg has worn a lot of hats in the dealership. And I think he gives valuable, is that kind of like for cognition, right? And a lot of the guys, that's what they do. So that's why collaboration is so important this year because our climate is changing and we need to marry some of the old with the new to find what fits the current climate.
I agree. Yeah, because we don't want to not adopt technology, and because technology can help us do things a lot easier and faster, but also like kind of taking it slow. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yep.
very important. Okay, so what is one word that you would describe yourself as?
So is batshit crazy one word or two? No, just kidding. Let me think. That would be if you asked Fred, but what would I say? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
we'll ask Fred.
Oh my gosh. What's a word?
I feel like
Dreamer?
dreamer. Yeah, I could see that.
My head's always in the cloud. I'm always thinking of things, ways we can spin stuff, you know, figuring out things, or what's a better word you can think
I
of?
was gonna say like a collaboration, or like
Collaborative?
yeah, collaborative. Like you're constantly like, how can we all work together, or like, like piecing people together. Like, oh, I think you should talk to them about this because,
I
you know,
I
yeah.
like that. But you know what? I get in trouble with that because you know how transparent I am. And
Yeah.
like I say stuff that shouldn't be said. I'm that transparent. And I don't think sometimes, because I forget we have to be so delicate sometimes, and we can't just be ourselves because, wait, this person or that person or that person or that person or whatever, especially in a group situation. So what I'm working on is using my 2 ears and probably my fingers too, but I have to learn about how to be more, I don't want to be politically correct necessarily because it cuts my creative flow and it cuts something that I think could be really beneficial to another person. So I don't know. I got to work on it, on not offending people without meaning to.
Well, and I've never been around you where I feel like you're offending anyone. And I have that same thing too, because, as I'm representing a company, I want to make sure I'm being, correct and not that I'm not fully myself, but it's also, you have to be cautious of the way you are.
Yeah.
But no, I think the way that you do things, like when you're trying to present an idea or you're talking about things, you always say, well, how do you phrase it? You always say like, well, is that not the right way to say it? Or like, you're always trying to like back yourself up of like, I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm just trying to like say what I feel.
Which is kind of goofy because usually the first time someone says to tell you the truth, they're about to lie to you. So
And very true. Yeah, that's a trait you got to look for. Do you have an important mentor or like someone that in your whole like career or life that's really like kind of took you under the wing that you can shout out?
So I've had some great mentors early on that really, really helped me, especially in my BDC career. Well, in my sales career, Jim Ziegler, believe it or not, Alpha Dog, trained me in the late 90s, trained me as an internet salesperson. But then when we branch, I can't say honestly, I can't point out anyone from the dealership setting, but I would say that David Kane and Greg Goebel equally got me started in BDC. But out of an absolute mentor where I felt like he had complete faith in me, and as a young person starting out 11 years ago, as far as the independent end of it, out of the dealership, he always made me feel like I was of value, that my ideas mattered, that my visions mattered. And he taught me how to he taught me how to train, and he taught me, I already knew the material, but he taught me how to present it to the masses. And which I probably haven't said, 10, 11 years ago, I was also known as a hard-ass trainer because I demanded excellence out of my BDMs because their DPs were counting on me. And that's where my loyalty lies. And it probably made a couple cry. I hope I don't do that today, but I also don't do it under someone else's umbrella. So at least I don't have anyone else worried about, okay, what'd she say now? So, but, yeah, there.
Did I miss that? Who was that person?
Greg Goebel of Dealer Strong.
Okay.
He's an incredible mentor. I owe my whole professional life to him, I think, post 2006. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I don't even talk to him now. We parted company, in January of 18? And we just run in different circles now. And I've sent a message here or there. He's in Sarasota. I'm in Arizona. But he absolutely, probably till my dying day, will be the biggest influence on my career. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. And that kind of leads me to another question. What's something like a hard lesson you had to learn, either just early on or when you started doing your BDC business, BDC Angels, what's a hard lesson you had to learn?
So I'm super gullible. And this is just life and my profession. I'm too trusting. And every time somebody comes to me for advice, or I hate it with the vendors and I hate it with the dealers. I hate it working. I don't know until I look somebody in the eye, usually like at a convention or whatever. And then if you stab me in the back, I'll trust you the next day. There's a lot of, I didn't realize there was so much drama, number one, in the virtual space, and I can't stand that. But the other thing is so you have to be guarded in what you say, but you also have to realize that all that glitters is not gold, and you can never be completely transparent in a professional relationship, I guess. Not saying you have to be selectively omissive or you still have to do your job, but if someone comes all excited about your services, for example, and I had one this week, they're all raring to go, like starting 3 dealerships, and I got ghosted. So I understand perspectives. Sometimes they have things they got to come back to you because they're busy, or it's end of month, or they had someone call in sick, or someone's on vacation. Totally get that. But an overall lesson, I would suggest I'm more guarded with who I trust, probably. It's kind of a sad statement, huh? But it is.
But that's a lesson that, you have to be cautious of who you trust. And I think that's, it's unfortunate we can't just automatically trust everyone, but it's just part of business. I want to share something because when you get ghosted, I sent a Snapchat. I think I sent it to you where I was getting ghosted because I was like, we had a great meeting. And it's like, for months, I'm like, come on, what's going on? So I'm going to give a shout out to Michael Barrich, the Fixed Ops Doc. He called me and he's like, hey, whenever anyone does that, send them the GIF of, or is it GIF? GIF. I never, however it is, of the girl, yes.
You know where that came from?
Where? He said it came from the 800 Club. Is that what it, or Glenn Lundy?
Nope, came from the Live with Drive guy.
Oh, okay.
He wrestler. Drive Centric.
Okay, maybe it came from, I don't know.
Because every time I have a call with him, he tells me about that. And every time he launches a client. And it works because most of the CRMs you can't send gifts. He calls it a GIF, I think.
Yes, he gets it.
Always like GIF, whatever. But yeah, definitely Steve, the Live with Drive guy. Yep.
Okay. So it came from a lot of people, but for me, Michael Barrich heard it.
Yep.
And then I like sending the one with Mr. Beans sitting on the ground. Like,
oh my God, I gotta send that. I'm gonna do that today.
Oh God. Because I get a response from this and people laugh. They're like, oh my God.
And they're gonna laugh because it's coming from me because everybody knows I'm a joker. So
yeah, and he's just like sitting there picking grass, like, come on, I'm waiting.
Oh my God. Are you out there?
Just let me know. It's okay if you're not interested. Just let me know. It's so funny. The hump sales, the good stuff. Okay, now we're wrapping things up, so I get to ask you a couple fun questions, and then we're pretty much all done. Okay, tell me what animal, if you could compare yourself to one animal, what would it be and why?
Wow. You know what, honestly? So there's 2, actually. My older thought, if I give it much thought, I'd probably say a chameleon because I feel comfortable in any situation, anywhere with anyone. And I deal with the person who scrubs the toilets the same as I do the owner of the company. That's just me, so you always get the real me. But I think more like current, probably a unicorn. And why? Because it's full of fantasy. You know me with my Good Morning Beautiful People, with my, whatever. I wake up happy in the morning. It's when negative drags me down, So I think a unicorn. Because the world's the limit. It's mystic. It's full of possibilities. You can fly. You can walk. You got beautiful, bright colors. I think a unicorn.
Oh, yes, you're a unicorn. And unicorns are rare, too, so I think you're a rare person.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, that's fun. I love asking that question. Okay. This is one where you finish the sentence. So you're in the car business when, and then you finish it.
This was true 25 years ago.
Okay.
Somebody made me a birthday card where they drew a picture of a phone and it said, can you hold? So you're in the car business when any time of the day or night, you may get a personal call, and you'll have to say, "Can I call you back?" Or I guess I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good one, and I think that still happens. It still happens. You call like, "Oh, can you hold, please?" Or like, "Hey, hang on." That's what happened when we started this interview. I'm like, "Hang on, I'm finishing up like 10 other things."
Or like our camping trip, right? Like when we go camping, like if someone were to get up from the campfire and walk off and go walk behind the vehicle with their cell phone, oh, she's got a work call. You know, you're in the car business when you take calls 24/7, I guess, for work.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, last fun question. This is kind of like my signature question. What's your favorite car, or what's your daily driver? If you want to share it. Some people don't want to share what they drive.
Well, so I'm mostly home, but unless it's the RV, my daily driver is a white 2020 Ford Fusion. Totally not my normal thing. I'm more a Jeep kind of girl, or a Isuzu Trooper. I had a 94 that I drove into the ground, and now I have an old Jeep, so I like old vehicles. But my 2020 Fusion is my favorite. But if I had my druthers, what would I have? Probably a cute little classic Porsche convertible.
Ooh, that would be fun.
A little two-seater, bright blue. Bright blue.
Yeah, I've seen the bright blue. I feel like that, or the Porsche color. And I love asking that question because just being in the business, there's just so many cars, and you have to love them all. So,
Yep.
All right. So if anyone wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way to get a hold of you? I'm assuming LinkedIn.
Emails wendy@bdcangels.com,
Okay.
or from my website, bdcangels.com. And my cell phone is 414-303-0493.
If anyone has questions about their BDC or just wants to get to know Wendy, reach out. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Wendy.
Thanks, Kaylee. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you for joining us. PartsEdge, the power tool for your parts department. We hope you're leaving feeling motivated, challenged, and inspired.